Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? And a very happy Sunday. I hope you're sitting and getting time to relax. I'm going to give you another wee video, and it's another one of those special videos. This is one of the knives that Liviu sent to me to review. This is the second of the two, and they have to go back after this. I can't put it off any longer. And I really do feel like that. We seen the first one that I reviewed from Rui, the Japanese maker, an incredibly high-end piece at, £2,500. Really just an exemplary piece of somebody who's got the time and the skill and the knowledge to put together such a beautiful thing. Well, this is no different. This man has the time, the skill. And sometimes when you get higher up in the knife world as a custom maker, your name adds money to your knife. Well, this maker will get there. I have every faith that he will do. This is A.vetrov, who is from Ukraine, and an amazing custom maker with obvious skill and class. And you'll see as we walk around this knife. I mean, this knife is roughly sort of around the £500 to £600 mark. And these are just rough prices. I like to give out, I know it's a bit crude giving out prices, but I like to because it lets me know where I am. The other one out of my realm, but I love looking at them. This one's getting to that stage where, eventually I might be able to get one of these. You could put this down as a grail. But I don't really hold big stock in grail. This is something that, I could sell a few of my knives to get one of these. If that chance ever came up or whatever like that. So this is more attainable. And I know it's £500 to £600 and it's just a crazy amount of money, but I've got to a stage where I really do appreciate custom knives. And I don't get to that price very often. It would be a very special knife, and this is a very special knife. I'm going to take you and we'll have a little walk around this knife. First of all, let's hear what the action's like. Lovely half stop, slams lovely in, right up the centre. Just everything about this. Look at this. So what have we got in the knife? We have a 4-inch long closed. It has stainless steel bolsters, which are, I would say, just beautifully done. Look at that back spring. And look at this. You got the rat's tail running right round. I like the rat's tail. It's just a deeper, wider lined bolster, and it is just beautifully done. But you have to get it so correct. It has to be the same on both sides of the bolster, and this is just done beautifully. Look at that there. It nearly disappears. It has been so well hafted. It is beautiful in there. And there's a couple of little, not sharp edges, but they're edges. But to get that real sharp look of a knife, you need them in some places. As long as it's not on the places where your hand's going to be, you need that sharpness. You need that just style. And this one has black line bolsters, as you can see. I'm not sure, it's maybe G10, I'm not sure what it is that he has used for it, but it really accentuates this brown. Sorry, that goes right the way around. Look how beautiful that is cut off. It is just stunning. Highly polished everywhere. Except one place, which we'll have a wee look at in a minute. But this is vintage micarta. And you can see how beautifully it's been done. And it's nearly exactly, I mean, this is, you can see where the micarta, the grain of the micarta is. And the skill is, when you do something like this and you leave this circle, that's dependent on how well you define the curved, because this is curved, this is not straight, it's slightly curved. But then when you do it on the other side, to take the time and the patience to get it nearly exactly the same. And that's done individually. I mean, that is just time that a custom maker has. These beautiful pins just disappear. And that looks like they're stainless. Absolute, just beautiful on the outside. This shield is something I'd never heard of before. This is carbo quartz, which is the new high-end material that the high-end, it's very hard to show you what this is like. Justin hit it right on the head. It actually looks and feels like a piece of, there you are, you can see like there's an iridescence on it, chatoyance in that just is really beautiful to see. But it's so unusual. It is like a piece of shell, and it sits beautifully in there. And with the black bolsters, sorry, not the black bolsters, but the black liners, it all ties in just beautifully. And there's the grey in there. You can see that grey, which goes with the hardware of the knife. Just beautiful. And then you can see that beautiful swedged clip blade that is lying underneath here, which is just dynamite. There's the clip. It's the perfect place for a clip. The middle of the knife makes it easy to open. But then it has a nice, this is a pull of about, I would say this is about a 6, which is just on what I would call what I like. I wouldn't want it much weaker than this at all. But look at this blade. Look at that, hand rubbed. You see, custom makers have the time. A lot of custom makers have the time to sit and do hand rubbing because it's something you can't do half-arsed because it just doesn't look nice. And when I hold that up to you, look how fine the detail is in that. It is beautiful. I'm going to see if I can zoom in on that because it is just amazing. Look at that. Look how fine that is. And it's perfection. There's nothing out of it the whole way along the knife. It's just beautiful. Really, really beautiful. There we go, get back out again. And that's the standard. When you're asking this sort of money for the knife, that's the standard you have to reach. You just have to reach it. And I love this. And I was going to say it's like that Lanny's clip handle, but then when you look at it up, there is a little bump here, which normally in a trapper, the wee bump would be down about here, a trapper pattern, you would get that. But it's, you know, it's one of those knife shapes that goes across a different patterns, but it's his unique one, and he has the little bump there. I think it is beautiful. And this is the type of handle I love. I love the fact that when it comes down and it just drops off and you get that lovely round butt of a knife, because that's the bit that sits in your hand. So it doesn't cause you any grief. This is it's a 4-inch, so I get a really beautiful grip on it. The 4-inch handle is my jam. That's where I'm most comfortable at. I can go down a bit smaller, 3 3/4, no problem, but the 4-inch just gives me a complete comfortable grip, a working grip. And would I use this knife to work if I had it? Yeah, I'd use it for light work. That's just me. A lot of people won't, and Liviu, by the looks of it, has not used this. It is just in pristine nick. And that's my downfall. I buy them, love them, then use the bloody things and lose a fortune. But hey, it's a hobby and I'm enjoying every moment. I wouldn't change what I do. I just love it. But that is some of the best connection. Look at that there. I bring you up. Look how, let me just show you where the break is. There you go. Look at that. Disappear. Hello. Disappear. Hello. Disappear. It's just immaculate. You just wouldn't see it. Again, the time that a custom maker has to make that happen. That is just beautiful. And little things like that, as I say often now, is the little fizz bulb goes off in me. The hairs are in the back of my neck because when you see that, I mean, you wouldn't see these metals at all. You wouldn't believe. Look at that. Look at that going right down there and then disappear. It just, that is the joy of a custom knife, and especially a high-end, very talented custom maker like A.vetrov is. You can only see, and he's a young man. He has plenty of years to improve his knowledge and skill. I don't know how you do that, but well, Rue is the example of that. Something to emulate, something to look forward to, as long as you give it the dedication that these boys have to give. And it is dedication. It's hours alone in a shop, designing, honing. Everything they do is to make your experience feel like my experience is now holding A.vetrov's knife. It's just the joy of it. the joy of it. And yes, there's lots of people out there. I understand it. Never going to afford something like that, or never even want to afford something like this. They think it's ridiculous to spend, and that's fine. There's a place for everybody. And I'm going to show you some knives that are an option for this pattern. You're not going to get the same standard if you're not going to pay the same amount of money, but you can get very close and you can get very similar. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters to me. It does not have to, I don't have to have this price of a knife. I can get others. And I just so happen I've got 3 beauties that I want to show you that are my own. And they're at different price ranges. All 3 are going down in about a 100 to 150, £200 maybe difference between each one. So there we go. Just gorgeous. I say this is £500 to £600. Is it worth it? Absolutely, every penny. 100% absolutely. This knife is made by just such an accomplished knife maker, custom knife maker. It's just immaculate. And if you want to just take the things that put to me, first of all, aesthetically, it looks beautiful. It looks like it'll be comfortable in the hand. You can see details that you don't sort of see on the everyday knife. The first thing I'll notice is the satin blade, or the hand rub satin. That's the bit that just, I love hand rub satin. I didn't know I did up until, months ago, but I do love it now. Mating up, the custom maker's skill in mating metals together that they become almost invisible. Come on, that is beautiful. I do like the walk and talk. Even if you haven't got a strong pull or snap, the walk and talk, listen, look at that, straight up, like a soldier guarding a queen. Beautiful, beautiful. And this has the kick rather than the pin at the bottom. I'll just show you that there's no pin there. This, again, handmade, and the handmade knives very rarely have the pin. Can you see there? This literally just rests on the back spring. The kick here is what keeps this blade edge away from the back spring. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Over the moon. And again, to Liviu, I just can't tell you how much I've enjoyed having this knife, because when you've got one sort of way out there, like the Rue knife was, and then it's you sort of think the other one can't come up to that standard, and maybe it can't quite come up to that standard, but my goodness, this is a well-made knife. This is no less well-made than the other one. It hasn't got it maybe hasn't got the presence of the Rue. I mean, he's a completely just genius, I think. An absolute genius. But this man is incredibly rare. And when you talk £500 or £600, this is just a super knife. And absolutely, I'd be proud to have this in any, at any time in my collection. It is just a beautifully made knife by an incredibly talented man. And it's not, but because I've put it in this, I've reviewed it second, has nothing to do with what I think of the knife. I have actually grown to really, really like this knife, because here's why, to me, right? Here's why. If I was to buy this, or if I was to trade, say, 3 or 4 knives to get this knife, I would use it. I would use it. Dead simple. Now, I'm not going to take it out and work on a building site with it, but I would use it. And Rue's knife is something I would have on a plinth in my front room, and I would just leave it up there so that I could look at it, touch it, fondle it every day, and admire workmanship of the world-class workmanship, just world-class. This workmanship is amazing. But the knife, it's got this price point at a custom, to me, now this is just me, and all custom makers are different, is something I want to carry and use. Light use. I don't mean batter the thing or do anything bad to it, but I would like to carry it and use it. But when you do that, you run the risk of dropping it, you run the risk of damaging it, and then it's yours for life because you'll not get a resale. But that's the sort of thing I'm happy with. I'll take that responsibility because I love this knife. And this is the one that I'd want to use. And that's, again, that's just my opinion. A lot wouldn't at that price, or they'd be frightened at that price. I would have been years ago, but I'm not anymore. So what else can I bring in to show you that's similar, but maybe not quite up to this standard, not quite up to the price range that this is? And it's all these could be it, because a knife maker can blow up from nowhere. It's like a YouTube channel. You start and people like you, and then all of a sudden you do one video, bang, you've blown up. A custom knife maker can be like that. So it's one of those things, when you see custom knife makers who are at a price, a more reasonable price to buy, whatever that is to you, it doesn't matter. It's different with everybody. Whenever you see one, buy one, because you just don't know what's going to happen in 5-10 years' time. I mean, that knife could triple, quadruple in value if you've picked the right knife maker. Now, I never suggest to buy a knife to gain money on it, because that is just that's a fool's game. I just believe it's a complete fool's name. No matter how big the maker is, buy the knife because you like it, not because you think it's going to make you money, because that's when you can get disappointed very quickly in any hobby. So here we go. I wrap it on, don't I? I don't know why I do that, but sure. Here's one that I have. This is a Michael Duplessis. You've seen this before. This is in my Carta. It's got the snub nose, which I just love, the little snub nose. It's got hand satin. And again, look how beautiful the hand satin is on that. Look how beautiful the hand satin is. It is done beautifully. Really is just beautifully done. The long pull I really do like on that. And it goes with that snub nose clip. And to me, this is just a different shape, but it's a knife that I carry and I use, but lightly. I mean, I don't want to score this, but I'll still cut cardboard or anything with it. It's just beautiful. The fit and finish, absolutely beautiful. Now you can see here, again, a custom maker. There's the break. Disappears, almost disappears. Almost, but not quite as good as this one. And that's the only thing I would say, is just not quite. But if you go down the line of it, Michael Duplessis makes a beautiful knife. Absolutely beautiful knife. It is stunning all the way down. Right round to that beautiful cut off, highly polished inside. Everything, the fit and finish. This is white liners, which really accentuate that blue. It really makes it pop and stand out. Beautifully done. You'll feel no join. You'll feel nothing. And it's like a full type of a bolster. But oh my God, I just love the look of this knife. And in hand, it's a bit of a smaller handle, but I can get up on the Ricasso. Gives me that little bit, full 4-finger grip. And just a stunning little knife. Really is beautifully done. And as I say, and there you go. You've got Michael Duplessis working over here in the UK now. He lives and works here and makes knives part-time, because he has always done that part-time. Makes them knives, and they're fantastic value. Somewhere around the 400 to 500. That's the 5 to 6, 4 to 5. These are rough prices. Please do not quote me on them. Just rough prices. And the way I wanted to line them up here, just a beautiful knife. Here's another one of my newest acquisitions. This is a Shing. And I'm picking these because of the handle shapes. Not because they're exactly the same patterns, because they're not. But this is very simple. It's that, and it comes down to that nice round bulbous end. I love that feeling in my hand when I have that over my last 2 fingers. This is a Shing. Another beautiful clip point. Beautifully hand rubbed satin. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. So there's 3 makers, and these are in different. Shing's knives are about, say, 300 to 400, depending on what you want. And with a custom maker, it always depends what material I want. This has got micarta. This one's got N690. This is just, I think that's M390, but it's that shape I love, that workable shape that you can get, and it's just beautiful. All of them have a beautiful, beautiful line on their sharpening choil. It sits beautifully there. This has got custom, this is custom hand dyed and jigged and dyed. So there's an extra work goes into that. But yet, this is going to be somewhere, the high 200s to 400, that 3 to 400 mark. So we're coming down in what you're paying, but no less beautiful knives. Again, this is a beautiful knife. This is the join up on these is a little bit different. Look at that. Again, just beautiful. Just beautiful. And that's just the little thing that's got me today, that this knife sort of exposed how good this knife is. It is such a high class knife. And here's the last one. And here is one that you can get for about £200. And if you've been in my channel, you know what it is. And it's very similar. It's the closest to size. Look at that. Now, this isn't all shiny and bright because this is my Ashley Harrison that Justin bought me it was last Christmas or Christmas before in bog oak. Look at that for a beautiful clip. They're different. They're completely different clips. But look how beautiful they are together. This is about a £200 knife. How beautiful. This is 01 tool steel M390. This is 67. This is 2. In and around that 2 mark. And you can see it's used. You can see by the top and bottom bolsters it has dunted things, because this is in the price range where I'm definitely going to use it. It's too beautiful knife, but it's a beautiful knife. And you can maybe see slight differences there, the time that they get to spend. This is a completely handmade knife. Completely handmade. I'm not sure about this. Does it matter? Not at all. As long as the knife comes out beautiful. But this is just so well made. The walk and talk in this is just to die for. This is a beastie boy. There we go. Beastie boy. Just beautiful. Beautiful made. And the bog oak is absolutely, it just looks like a working knife. It has to be used, but yet it's made as a custom. And a beautiful custom it is. This is Ashley at his best in my eyes. This is one of the best, the value knives that you can get off Ashley. I just think for £200, getting something like that to that standard. Now, it hasn't got hand rub at the £200 price mark. Ashley doesn't have the time to do that. And he's a part-time custom maker. He has a full-day job working, making just normal knives for Arthur, normal knives for Arthur Wright. But it just shows you that if you can save up to 200, you're on the start of that. And this is where I got started with Ashley, with the customs. You find a maker that you can afford to buy, and you do eventually go up. I have done it and proved it, and I've got dearer than what I've got sitting there now. I've just got a new one, and I'm going to be showing you that very shortly, which is, for me, way up there in the high end. It's up this price range, maybe just a little bit more. Don't know, somewhere around there. So I've managed to be able to do that, and that's just by years and years of buying, selling, trading, and moving things on and moving up, putting money to move up, and then you trade for a more expensive knife. And it might be 2 or 3 knives to get one knife. So there you go. This, less price than the Rue, absolutely. As a knife, perfection. Perfection. And you've got to say perfection at that price range, because it is perfection at this price range. I just can't believe the details that you can spot and notice. Once you get I spent about a week with these, and at night time I'm sitting in there and it's dim some nights, and I'm just sitting looking at them, and I'm trying to work out things that I want to show and tell when I'm doing a review. How excited I get is how the knife feels in hand, because it can look as pretty as all get out, but sometimes, especially if it's a knife like this, I mean, this is a working pattern to me. It's a working pattern. It's not something I'm going to put up on a shelf. This is something I'm going to use. I'll keep it in my nice box here, and I'll bring it out and show it to people as often as they want to see it. But to me, it's that shape that's going to work. So, Liviu, I have had such a beautiful time with your knives. Thank you so much for the privilege, the honour of just showing your knives off. You keep sending me knives that blow me away. And like I say, there's nothing in this for Liviu. He just sends me a knife and I send it back. That's it. This is just two friends who are sharing the knives. Well, I don't share mine because I don't have many he would want to share with, but do you know what I mean? It's just a friend sharing his knives. I think we get a real privilege in seeing his knives. I hope you've enjoyed these two as much as the last two. And hopefully in the future, we'll maybe get another couple of Liviu. I haven't even asked him or he hasn't offered, but I can see in the future we'll see some more of his knives because he doesn't have a channel and it's a nice way for him to get his knives out to more people. And the more the merrier in my eyes. And to be able to actually touch them and not just see them on YouTube, touching them, holding them, getting that identity from the maker. And this is a maker that's really on my radar now because I don't have to go too far from where I am to get something like this. Hopefully. But isn't it? It's like that. That's lovely. That's knife collecting. And I am a collector as well as a YouTuber. And I'm actually become more and more of a collector than I am a YouTuber. I don't buy all the modern up-to-date knives. So there we go. Look, again, thank you. Probably gushed again too much about custom makers, and especially your local custom makers, people that live in your area. The three that I showed you are all here in the UK. So we've no excuses and we've got in price ranges that you can start to achieve. You can save, you can trade and put money away. If you want one, if you don't want one, you don't do it. It's dead simple. So take care. Have a lovely Sunday. Thank you very much for listening. Waffled on far too long again. Bye-bye now.